Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Doug's vlog, and we started the week off with a max effort floor press on max effort upper day. He managed to get 345 pounds, and that was a pretty clean lift. Notice he came down, came to a complete stop at the bottom. It was slow but not super grindy. So in terms of just brute strength, that puts us in a very, very good place. Doug, like most people, tends to be slightly weaker on the floor press than the bench press. So that's 7 pounds less than he hit at his last meet. So we are very much on schedule, I think, to get a 365 bench. It's what we want at his next meet coming up. It's what I'm hoping for. I think it's doable at this point. It's not out of the question. So for supplemental work, again, his shoulders and stuff have been getting a little fatigued. His pec tendons have been getting fatigued, but mainly his pec tendons because we've been working on pretty hard. So I'm letting him do, a little more floor pressing right now, pulling some of the incline and stuff out, so we can continue to build all the pressing muscles without fatiguing that area. So he's doing floor presses, and then he's doing JM floor presses afterwards. We do dumbbell rows, so he's doing a chest-supported dumbbell row or an incline dumbbell row for our upper back work for that day. And then, of course, we do some laterals and some band press downs and stuff. And again, a lot of my lifters, we do laterals. I think they're good exercise. I do them personally. I did them this week myself. I think they're a good exercise for just finishing off your delts, getting full delt development, without really beating you up. So people will say, well, why do you like those? Why don't you like other lifts more? Because I do use other lifts and I do program other lifts, but I like them a lot of times when my lifters are being pushed near their limits, because laterals will work all three heads of the delt while putting that focus on the side head. They'll work the upper trap and everything while not putting a lot of fatigue on our body, because we're forced to use such a light weight. And I've had that come up too. Occasionally someone will ask that, well, why do they work so well with such a light weight if the delta is the biggest muscle in the upper body? Because it is, because of the leverage disadvantage. So the muscle has to work super hard, has to work very, very hard against those leverages, even with a lighter weight. So from a stimulus fatigue perspective, it makes them a really nice finishing exercise. All right, for deadlifts, he pulled 470. He ran out of plates. He probably could have got a little more, but he only has 470 pounds of plates. We're going to have to get some more plates, right? He's going to be deadlifting 500 pretty soon. Deadlift being his worst lift, bench being his best lift. It just has to do with his leverages, his injury history, muscle imbalance history, things like that. So for supplemental work for the lower body days, right now we're doing Romanian deadlifts. Again, so why these over good mornings? Well, in his case, he needs more hamstring, more posterior chain. He needs more deadlift in general. Okay, and it's not that good mornings don't work them well. It's just that good mornings carry over a little better to squats. So if I have a lifter who's just disadvantaged at the deadlift, but they're a strong squatter, that's a good time to substitute in the RDL. Because I program good mornings for a lot of my lifters who don't have access to a lot of equipment. Right? For people who have limited equipment, I love good mornings. I even love them for myself. It's just that I have other equipment, and I can only work so much stuff in and recover from it in different phases. So you don't see me doing as many of those these days. But I've historically been very, very strong at them. You guys have seen me good morning over 500 pounds. But, in this case, his squat is considerably better than his deadlift. So we're using the RDLs to bring that up. So then for further supplemental work, we like to do step-ups right now. So we do different isolateral leg exercises because he doesn't have any leg machines. So at the moment, we're messing around with some step-ups with a safety bar. We're doing reverse hyperextensions and then weighted pull-ups. And in his case, he has the Scout Hyper. We're very limited on how much weight we can do on this, so we tend to go for, a lot more reps accordingly, because it can only handle so much weight, plus it's prone to bouncing and swinging, if you're not careful. So you have to go super strict with it. You're stuck with generally higher reps once you're really strong. That's the downside to the Scout Hyper. The upside is that it's very compact. You can fold it and stuff it in the corner. And that's, again, a real disadvantage with a normal reverse hyper. People see the reverse hyper, and I've seen a few people. I've had a client who I told him, you need to understand it's really big. He goes, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I told him that. He's like, I didn't realize how big it was going to be till it was delivered. It's way bigger than I thought it was. So don't let videos fool you when you see someone up on a reverse hyper and you're thinking, oh, it's a certain size. If you haven't seen one in person, it's probably bigger than you think it is. It takes up a lot of floor space. The Scout Hyper doesn't. So that's one reason people do it. Dynamic effort, upper day. We do speed bench. In his case, we rotate grips. We do 3 sets wide, 3 sets medium, 3 sets close. We don't really have a good setup for bands for him at the moment, and he doesn't have chains. So, of course, we do all this speed work with straight weight. We do it all with straight weight. Also, we're letting his pec tendons heal a little bit. So again, we're keeping stuff lighter. I'm letting him do some dumbbell presses here now, mainly because they work. They will work pecs very effectively without beating certain things up. Right, all that incline benching has really taken a toll and stuff on his shoulders, so we've taken it out for a phase. Plus, his shoulders are so strong. The guy inclines over 300 pounds with a pause. We need more chest at this point, so we're now looking at, what movements are going to give us the most bang for our buck on his chest without beating his shoulders up. So doing some dumbbell pressing there after the speed bench. I actually like to do that for a lot of lifters. I'm big on dumbbells on speed bench day. If they need extra chest work, if they have a chest weakness, I actually like that a lot. Then, of course, we do some JM presses. And I'm largely not worrying about his shoulders. He can do his lateral raises. That's enough for shoulders. Doug's got big delts. He has strong delts. We know that looking at his strength on different lifts. They're not limiting his bench. And quite frankly, looking at his JM press strength, I don't think triceps are really a major weakness anymore. They'll always help. It will never hurt you to have stronger triceps on the bench. But at this point, it's just sheer chest. He just has to get his pecs bigger. And it's not even lats or anything. Look at his weighted pull-up strength. Guy bangs out sets of 10 with weighted pull-ups for full range of motion. And it's not limiting us. It's just straight chest at this point. So we need to bring his pecs up. It's not that he doesn't have pecs, it's that he has 350-pound bench press pecs. Well, if we want to bench 375 instead of 350, we need 375 bench press capable pecs. Of course, then we do some band press downs. I have him do a set in here just to keep his elbow tendons healthy with those heavy JM presses. Get some blood flow to the area. All right, dynamic effort lower day. We do speed boxes with the safety bar. Then he does speed pulls. Look at that nice vertical shin. That's what we want for our box squats. Then he does speed conventional pulls. We don't do sumo for Doug. Again, he has an injury history with sumo. It's not worth it to us. He's going to pull conventional that meets anyways. So conventional speed pulls. Then we do our normal stuff. We do our Romanian deadlifts. We do our step-ups. We do our reverse hypers and our weighted pull-ups. And of course, we're cutting this a little short because I like to keep these vlogs, if possible, under 10 minutes. And so we took some of that extra footage out. But again, here we have the Romanian deadlifts. And again, let's talk about weak links. Look at what he's repping. Look at what he can deadlift and squat. Right? There's a strength disparity there. And we can see that on these hamstring dominant exercises. Right? He needs more hamstrings. Got to have them. He's also his injured hamstrings in the past fairly easily. Right? We have to bring that area up. And of course, we only bring it up by training it, and that's an example of training it. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.